Hey everybody, it's Ken Perry with Broker Knowledge Group. Happy New Year. This is our first Wednesday update of the year, and I want to do three major things today. I want to give you an update on the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. I want to give you an update on what's going on with the mortgage industry. And then finally, I want to leave you with a challenge. So let's start with the CFPB. Today, Wednesday, the president came out and actually appointed a guy to run the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. That's the largest federal agency that regulates the mortgage industry that has ever existed. They regulate mortgage, they regulate consumer loans like credit cards, payday lenders, all that stuff. The president appointed somebody to run it. Now, since July 21st, they've not had a leader because the president would appoint somebody and then the Senate, which needs to really confirm that person, the Senate has not liked anybody that's been offered up. And so the president chose to wait until the Senate wasn't looking and then just push the guy into that position. Kind of an interesting way to do it. Now, I will tell you, this is the first time this has ever been done. So the president, for the first time ever, while the Senate is in session, has said, you know what, you guys aren't even in DC. You're technically on recess, even though it's not called a recess. I'm just doing it. So he threw Richard Cordray into position as the head of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. So you should hear things over the next few days, probably from the Senate. This will probably become a major political thing, that the president did something really that was technically outside of what Dodd-Frank had required. He just did it. So you'll hear that politically. It'll be really interesting. I have no problem with Richard Cordray. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau up to this point has done a really good job, as far as I'm concerned, managing the system. But you know, we'll see where that goes. So that's the first update, is we've got this guy. The one issue that I have too of the CFPB is the president has actually come out and he had a little photo op the other day where he met two people who were being foreclosed upon by their bank. And it was interesting because he, in that meeting, very clearly for the press release said, you know, we got to get these brokers, these mortgage brokers. And I'm sitting here thinking mortgage brokers don't actually foreclose on people. So that was an interesting way of using mortgage brokers. And by the way, in that same meeting, he actually said these three people. He said the CFPB will be regulating those people like mortgage brokers, payday lenders, and debt collectors. So I love that they're putting you in that category. That's like me saying that we really need to pass a law to control the murderers, the burglars, and the politicians. So anyway, just interesting that he looped them all together. So that's the CFPB and what's going on with them. Now, as far as the general economic conditions, housing does look like it's poised to make a huge leap in 2011. And the way you're probably going to see that leap is everybody who in 2006, 2007 was foreclosed on, they're now coming back into the market and they're going to be your new buyer for a little bit, because what we found out is they actually kept their credit fairly clean for the most part. People were paying their mortgages and their consumer debt and had 800 credit scores. Then all of a sudden they, you know, didn't want to pay their mortgage anymore. Either they lost their job or just didn't feel like it. And they dumped their mortgage, but they kept their consumer debt clean, which means those guys are ready now, because they've been renting for a while and rents are through the roof. They're now ready to jump back into the industry. So with that influx of borrowers, as well as the massive amount of people that have been on the sidelines just waiting to get into the game, you're probably going to see more buyers this year, which should be really cool for us. Now, you'll also see more properties come onto the market because banks are still holding on to those. Well, that leads me to this. The Fed came out today and sent a letter to the Senate. And what they did is they did this white paper on really what should be done to help the housing market. The entire white paper focuses on getting more loans out to the market. It also focuses on getting people who are in their houses and can't afford the payment some type of relief. And it also focuses on getting people who are good borrowers and making their payment, but they're underwater, some type of help. Now, there's no magic bullet in this paper, but the reason I bring it up is it's really cool that a federal regulator, a monster federal regulator, is actually coming out and saying, look, let's, you know, lower our pain that we're providing to the industry, and let's try to get something going so that we can get the housing market up. And they do mention in there that we really need housing for us to completely recover. So expect something out of that. And I don't know where that's going to go, but I just like the theme, because in it they also said that lenders aren't funding loans because lenders are scared of the massive buybacks they're going to get from Fannie Freddie. The Fed's idea for that, let's make them a little less scared about buybacks. And so they're looking at how can we get lenders to now lend again? What could we do to make that work? So again, with new buyers coming into the market, with the regulators looking at how can we make people's life easier and our life easier, I really feel good about 2012 so far. Now we have tons of rules still to come out, so by July 2012 we're going to see just a gang of new mortgage regulations, so keep an eye on these videos because as it comes out I'll let you know. But should make for a fairly interesting year. Final thing, I hope you did New Year's resolutions. My family, we had a great time on New Year's. We all sat around making resolutions talking about what we wanted to do for the future. Here's a resolution that I would recommend for you. I'm reading a book called Today We Are Rich. It's by Tim Sanders. It's an amazing book. And in that book, he talks about what we could do to get better at our jobs. And as I read it, I realized, oh my gosh, we're not doing what it takes to be successful in our own business. By that I mean, he talks about reading and researching your industry, reading and researching what you do for a living. If you do sales, how many books did you read on how to sell right, or how to, sell a borrower on a loan, or help a borrower understand their terms, or to go market your database? How many classes did you take on that? How many books did you read on that? I'm worried that your answer was, I probably didn't do as much as I should. Well, cool. Today's a new day. Start today. Start reading and researching your business. Read sales books. Read mortgage industry information. Don't get stuck in it and don't let it bog you down, but follow it because you need to be an expert. You need to be the best at your job. So if you're looking for a resolution, that's it. One final thing. Broker Knowledge Group sponsored a group called the Camas Mechanikids. That is our Lego robotics team here in Camas. We were the proud sponsor of them, and they qualified for the state tournament. If they win the state tournament, they move on to the world tournament over in St. Louis, Missouri. The reason I bring that up is this. Invest in your community, you guys. The kids out there need your help. So if you're looking for something to do, and this is also in Tim Sanders' book, look at giving to your community and giving to areas that will help kids grow. You'd be amazed at what the Lego program, the Lego robotics program, will do for kids as far as their ability to understand project management, teamwork, and all those great things that we really want them to learn. So if you're looking for a New Year's resolution, there's another one. You guys, I will see you next week. Thanks for listening, and have a great week.